Okay. Hello, everyone. It is I, Badger Wild. We are back once again. Wow, that's okay. There we go. So I got a nice little space set up here so I can begin building some stuff. Just a chill build stream. It's not me doing anything really crazy. What I might be doing though is building a fighter that my organization Triple R might be able to sell to everyone else. So this will be like kind of it'll be kind of like having a sort of like how the US has certain aircraft they sell to other countries. So that's what this will be. It'll be an easy, cheaper than normal spacecraft. And I got a nice little spot to build it on. It's about the size we're going to have it at. Um, to pull up here, let's pull out the Saber because I kind of want this thing to be a little bigger than the Saber is. If I can find the Saber, it just disappeared on me. So we have the Saber here. And as you can see with the Saber, it is in fact very, very compact. This thing has about three separate gun mounts. It's got its own rocket launchers. What I want to do with the new ship is I want to kind of build it in a way where it will be, how do I put this? Sort of offset and asymmetrical to be a little bit bigger. And I want to go from a two-engine craft like we have here to a three-engine craft. Or not a three-engine. I want to go to a single large engine with a series of ion thrusters to give it a little bit more range. This is more of an interceptor you can load up onto a ship and just launch off. I am going to take the I am going to take this thing at some point in time, and I'm probably going to make a better version of it and improve upon the design and make it probably number one, give it more guns, and number two, just make it look a little bit better. But right now, this is the type of ship we're looking at. I also don't like the big bulging sections here. That kind of irritates me. I want a little more sleeker angles to it than what I have here. This worked out all right for what it was designed to do, but it ultimately I would like to do something better. So what we're going to do is we're going to start here on this nice little platform, and we're going to build something with a slight forward sweep to its wing systems, or we're going to do something a little bit different. I don't know. And I will have you guys. Um, I will put up a deal, putting a picture of this thing. Hopefully, I can get it done tonight. That's the big hope, is that I can get this done tonight. May not, but this is just going to be kind of what we do for the foreseeable future for a little bit. There are other things I'm wanting to add to this. Number one, I normally use large connectors. We are probably going to try a small connector at some point with this so that when the connector is added on, I'll have like a small connector on top and we'll have a large connector on bottom. So I can actually add other stuff to it. We are going to need our singular hydrogen tank, wherever those are at. Here, we'll have that single hydrogen tank going in. Let me shut this down for a minute. See, okay, we've got our hydrogen tank there. And we're going to need some large ion engines, like large ion thruster. And we've already got most of our stuff set up. And I'm looking through here, and the plan, as I've said before, is we're gonna try and build this thing to be a quick and simple spacecraft, pretty much. So we're gonna go with the fighter cockpit, obviously, of all things. And I'm gonna hit the R mode here. And we're gonna pull this back so I can find my fighter cockpit here. And we're also gonna give this some landing gear. So it'll just be like kind of a multi-purpose fighter. Kind of smaller than normal. So there's our cockpit there. And then we are going to want to put, I pushed the wrong thing. Find this bad boy. And let's go with this one. And I think that'll be everything for the moment. Because I've got to figure out how this is all going to connect together. Now, we're going to take number 5 here. And that's going to be an issue because I just realized, we're going to have to put the hydrogen tank in here, and that's going to put 2 extra conveyors right there, which creates a problem. So, I guess we'll forego that for now. I wanted to put a big... Let's see what this looks like first. That's going to interfere with some design ideas and some design principles, so we're probably going to remove this. I do want this thing to be a little bit longer. So what we're going to do here... See, we got this conveyor converter here, and that's a problem, because I could add something else. It would make the gunship a little... It would make this fighter a little longer. I think we're going to do that. I think we're going to add an H2O2 generator on this. Just so we can add some other things to it. This will also give us the ability to undersling this on ships, which is something my faction likes to do. Likes to undersling smaller ships underneath a larger ship. So we're going to put an O2H2 generator, and this is going to be a longer fighter than normal. So it's going to be a little longer. It's going to be a little slower. It's not going to be the Sabre, which right now I think we're on the Sabre Mark II. I'm going to have to completely redesign the front part of the Sabre at some point and redesign it or build a brand new type of interceptor, which sucks, but it's something we have to do sometimes. Let's go with number 5 here. Well, no, I didn't do that right. Let's go with the classic design because we're probably not going to see this thing. And then number 5. I'm going to probably twist this here, spin it around, and then number 3 to the defense thing right there. And then we're going to go to number 4, which should give me a nice big heavy thruster for the back end. And there we are. That's the first angular parts of this. This is kind of the length of it done. Now, like I said before, this thing is going to be asymmetrical. So this is going to be that multi-purpose fighter that you're just going to see out there, attacking other units, causing problems, things of that nature. You know, just being a general menace. First things first, we're going to grab a connector here. And I'm going to slap this connector here so that we can connect into it. And then down here, we're going to go number 6. And I'm going to get a reinforced connector here. And then we're going to go number 2, because this is where usually I add storage at, is in this connector right here. And boom, we have a connector right there. Check that out. And so now we can underslung this thing under a other ship. We can put the one thing up. This can just fly up there, connect to it, and be done. It's not that big a deal. So we got those parts done. Now I got to figure out where the guns are going, where all that fun stuff is happening. And let's pull out a couple of fighters here from the data banks we have. So I want to look at a few of them. First one's a Saber. We're going to pull it out. I want to look at the Saber real quick. I want to use some referencing here. All right, there's the Saber. I need another one here. I need my A-Wing. Where's my A-Wing? Where's the A-Wing? Where's the A-Wing at? No, there it is. So these two have kind of been like the high-speed interceptors that I built. The A-Wing is more of a Star Wars ship. What I'm wanting to do is I want to look at thruster placement, where the thrusters are at in comparison to everything else, and see if there's not a way I could add a different set of thrusters. Now, the thing about the Saber is the Saber actually has less forward thrusters. It has 2, whereas the A-Wing has about 4 forward thrusters. It's got about 2 thrusters in all directions except for the big ones in the back. And it's running on 2 ion thrusters. So that's one thing. But the Saber doesn't have any ion thrusters, and it really just breakneck speeds because of the lightweight of it. And if you've seen how this thing operates, if any of y'all have played with the Saber, you know how fast this thing is. It's the closest thing to the Aether Sprite in terms of just sheer velocity that you're going to get. And if you know what the Aether Sprite is, that's the Jedi Starfighter from Star Wars. So this is more of the hit it and run and just barrel on through. And I want to modify this thing a bit to where we can manipulate the thrusters a little bit better. I'm going to have a system in place to where I can open these up. I would like to modify this a little bit more because that's what it is. It's ultimately an evolution of this to that. This over here is going to be a much larger fighter. We're not going to have all the advanced stuff that we have with this one. So I think for this, since we're not using the thrusters to full effect, I don't know if we need more than 2 thrusters. And if I were to use the 2 thrusters, I kind of want to build it. I kind of want to build this thing kind of like this with this type of nose, but a little different. If you can understand that. Let me see what I think I did here as I look through this thing and figure it out. I believe I want to say that I did something here to allow this to connect. And I think the other gun Okay, so the other gun probably has some sort of deal that comes around each side. We're not going to do guns on this. However, I think what I want to do is I want to have thrusters in front, like we did before. I kind of want to do something like this, but I want to expand upon it. Or I want to do something else. I'm not sure. That's the kicker. I do like this narrow design of the Ether Sprite look. Let me pull a different ship out here, because I've got another one here. That was more of an experimental build, and it just didn't pan out. But the design of it actually works pretty good. This thing's design just didn't pan out. So this is the attempt of making a sort of a cannon unit. A lot of things went into this. A couple of experimental options. Not everything panned out as well. If you can imagine. If you can imagine. Nothing really panned out well. So I think what I want to do, I want to take this nose and I kind of want to use this nose section and I want to build a cannon array right here on the side. Because things that people don't realize, a lot of your aircraft, their guns are kind of located on one side of the vessel. So as long as it's kind of close, it's going to do the job. And then from there, we're going to add something right in here. I don't know what yet, but I'll have to figure out how everything is going to hook together. Because I think when I built this thing, I had to cover a whole lot of stuff. We're not going to do this. What I'd like to do is have something similar to this. But I don't know how this will work. There's a lot of things that I'm going to have to figure out with this whole build. Now, for those that are wondering, no, we haven't gotten done. We're not doing anything really official. This is just for my faction, and there will be a thing coming up where I'm gonna show you. Basically, the point of this thing was to try and put enough ammunition. Well, I'll just show you. The idea of this was to be something like this. Oh, my thrusters are off. And number 4 is apparently on. But yeah, the idea was to build a better version of the the problem is, yeah, this thing gets up some speed and firepower real quick. But the problem with it was there's so many moving parts, and I tried to cover up and armor too much stuff on it. And I'm thinking what I'll do is it goes into the system. So like a strafing craft, a craft that doesn't need to fly at the target and hit it. No, it doesn't. One of my the idea was to have the same gimbaled system that turned in. The problem is the way this thing is armored up and designed. It's almost impossible to do that. It has a wicked fire rate, but the problem is there's a buildup to firing that gun. Once that gun gets going, it's good. But if you're in like a dogfight with something, the only thing this is really good for is just hitting another target and just bashing it with just sheer firepower. Like I said, there is a there is almost a 3-second delay, and in a dogfight, that 3 seconds is a nightmare. And it's also much heavier than normal. It didn't work, but the nose looks really good. I like the nose. And looking at the nose, I think I can put my 2 thrusters here. And we can have our camera here in the nose, which will help out. I can actually put enough glass in here. Like, let me see here. Where's the camera? I must not have installed the camera yet. I'm pretty sure it's there. Let's check it. So you can view out the camera. But the problem is, as you're firing, this produces so much smoke, you're unable to really see. I feel that's more of a gunship thing. Yeah, it should be. It should be enough firepower for a gunship. Um, and that's probably what that system will go to. It works. Like I said, if you're firing at bigger ships, this thing is a pretty nightmarish little thing. But the problem is, because it's such a lightweight fighter with a bunch of heavyweight firepower, it kind of one hit pretty much takes it out, and it's not as agile. Like if I were to sit there and see that thing, if I were to jump into this like the Saber, like if you were to look at this, watch this thing when it takes off, it's got a pretty good amount of speed. It's got a decent amount of speed. It can get to speed really quick. However, if you hop into the frickin' Saber here, and I just click on all of its guns all of its thrusters real fast, and can get them all working. That's the other big kicker here. Why are they all off? Is there something I'm not noticing here? Oh, power must be off. Okay, that must be the issue. Hang on. This is one of the earlier versions of it, so it's probably got a power issue. I haven't put the power systems on here yet. Turn that on, and it comes on 2 small warfare reactors. So you remember how fast the other ship was? This thing is just mental. And I like this. I like that it's mental. Like I said, this thing can just kind of turn and get into position, and it can move. It's got the agility it needs to get something done. The other ship does not have this kind of agility. Can it move? Yeah. You can hear this thing just kind of clangs a lot. It is a fast-moving little interceptor, and I think I could build a lighter one with even more speed. That's what I'd love to do. Like I said, these are pretty fast, but what I'm wanting to build is something a little different. So we're going to take the nose on this one. So let me see how long the blockage is on it. I think what I can do is I can run 2 points of a thruster up, and then I can just add 2. I can actually hit 2 thrusters here if I just let this thing go forward naturally and just bring it forward a little more. And I can put 2 thrusters going down, maybe more. Let's see if I can do this. Renegade Bundy here. Could call it the Trident class strike fighter. Yeah, I would call that a strike fighter. I mean, to be pretty cheap and dump loads of fuck you down range before having to pull off. Yeah, the problem is that thing dies to a minigun like so fast compared to the Saber. And one of the reasons that this happens is because the rockets and the guns are kind of close, but also these thrusters are right smack in the way. And it also has a problem of, even though I've added extra armor paneling, these tend to clang out. So it creates the whole thing and makes it unreliable. Whereas these two don't have any connections, and their gimbaled guns work pretty good. The Saber's guns, I'd like to put a... How do I say this? I'd like to put a rotor in there and limit it so that when it flew in, it could just lock both of its guns on, and the pilot could concentrate more on trying to move than actually trying to hit the target. Let the targeting system do it for him, so to speak. Let's see here. What am I thinking I'm going to do here? What we're going to do is we're going to grab number 6 here. Let's do this. Because we're not going to need number 6 to do much of anything else. We're just going to put it right there. Like so. And then I'm going to go to this bad boy. And this bad boy. What I'm going to do right now is we're going to mirror tool this nonsense so I don't have to deal with a whole lot of other things. Yes, Badger is finally building. For those of y'all that are watching at the moment. And Badger finally got to the build part of the video. Now, we've got all this going. We're going to have 2 thrusters here. And 4 thrusters down here, just so that this thing can pull itself up out of a situation if it needs to. Feel like it needs to be a bit bulkier and tad slower gunship. Hold about 4 to 8 missiles and 2 to 3 gimbaled guns, plus the forward-facing fixed armament. Yeah, you could do that. I will probably build a bigger version of that. I want to build one that has both gimbaled autocannon clusters and rocket clusters, and then has a set of, I can then add like a set of Mako missiles onto its wings so that I can just start dropping the Mako. This thing's going to be able to use the Mako as well, only it's going to be able to carry 2 of them. It's not going to be as insane as some of my normal, as the other one. Like I said, this is going to be a much easier to build spacecraft. That's not going to have to worry about all the other mental stuff that I normally put into a build. But yeah, I kind of want to build a transport that has like a set of forward sweep overswept wings, has a series of autocannons on the tips of the wings. A little bit further in has a set of gimbaled rockets, and then has a set of Mako missiles in between all that, so I can just start dropping missiles, so I can have those individual Makos that go out and like hit stuff. But then also when it comes in, I don't have to worry about engaging stuff. I just fly it in there and let the missile pods just light up something, and then have the gimbaled autocannon turrets just light stuff up as well. Probably triple rack those guys. Okay, we got all that figured out. Let's look at the design here. And what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to flip up. Let's go over here. I've still got my other stuff going on. And we're probably going to up armor some portions of this build so that we've got some good stuff. So this will be your dedicated strike fighter. It's not a, it's a dedicated fighter. It'll also be something that if in universe you were to ever be in the same star system as where my faction would be at, you'd see other factions have a set of these. They would have some of these out there because my faction would be selling them also. So it's going to be much more simpler ship. It's not going to have like, you're not getting a saber from us, obviously. You're going to get one of these. It's not going to be the most insane thing you've ever seen in your life. It's going to be something pretty simple. So let me look here. Let's see, number 3. And let's go ahead, because like I said, we're going to take this thing. Actually, maybe I want to do this. Let me look at that again. Yeah, that's pretty good. Actually, because I want to put mounted rocket pods on here, on like underslung a rocket pod or something somewhere around this. Well, I don't know if I'll do that or not. I don't know if we'll do that or not. Let's go ahead and let's see. We need 2 blocks out, maybe 3. Well, let's go ahead. I think that's what I've kind of done here. Anyway, so we're gonna do that with. But first off, these old classic blocks here. Oh wait, hold on. Let me look here a minute. Yeah, we're gonna do that. No, we're not. Because I just realized I put the wrong darn block in there. Let's go ahead and grab... Because I have to remember how to do this. 2 of these. And then... Only transitionary blocks. That'll be number 5. Come on, where is it? Oh, yeah, there you are. And back to number 3. Let's look back over here at what we got going on. And so how many of these forward did I go? I went 1, 2, 3, 4 forward. We have 2 forward. 4 forward. That'll give us a lot of room. Then actually, looking at that, I may be able to... 1, 2, 3. I might actually be able to internalize that set of thrusters so you won't see the thrusters there. We should do that. Hold on a minute. Let me see what the front of this is looking like here. Okay, so we need just 2 more there. And those, I believe, are coming in 6. Right here. There we go. And then number 4. I could do this. Let's look at number 3 real quick, because number 3 also has a block here that might... That looks pretty good. We'll run with that. We'll run with that. I'm going to put a light there somewhere. In fact, let's do that. Let's just add a light here real quick. And we'll add a block right here to give it that kind of look. And there we go. That's looking neat. That's looking nifty. That's looking nifty. All right, let's go ahead over to here. We're going to grab some lights. Let's see, spotlights. Let's see where our lights are. And yeah, that's the type of light I'm looking for. Booyah! Right there. So we got a light in the front. It's basically like the F-35 compared to the F-22. Yeah, or more like I think it's the T-20 Tiger. We were going to put that jet into service, and we just never did. Because we didn't see a reason for it. Which is kind of dumb, in my opinion, but you know, really can't complain. So I think here, because we're going to need some gyroscopes, obviously. Let's grab some gyroscopes real quick. We're going to throw those in. So the gyroscopes can just be, well, yeah. Why? Okay. There's a gyro there. And a gyro there. So that's going to give us a lot of maneuverability right in there. That, or I'm going to have to put the gyro somewhere else. I may put the gyro somewhere else. Thinking about it. I need room for 2 reactors. I need room for 2 reactors. I'm gonna have to figure some stuff out here. Let's see if we can get a battery. Oh, I don't know why I did that. So we'll just grab a small battery here. power all that up, and then let's go ahead and grab us a camera. And I may actually put a remote control in the front of it so I can control this thing. Because having a remote control ship, not a bad thing to have. Not a bad thing to have. So there's our camera. And then after this, we're going to have to build the outer section of it. I already know how to do a channel right in here. Like I said, we're not going to have the guns here. I'm probably going to mount the guns right about here on one side. And they're probably just going to be baseline machine guns. We're going to have 3 of them. And the reason why we're clustering them that close together is because in a strafing fashion, as you are usually attacking things, you don't spin the fighter sideways. You're normally turning up so you can keep your maximum vision as you're going up. So you're kind of turning at the target as you're moving after it. And what that will do is I'll be able to turn this thing and we'll be able to light up with the main guns and just let something have it. So we have the forward part of this, but I'm running into an issue here where, looking at it, I don't have a small block to put there. So we're going to have to put that with a more pointed nose. Sad, but it will have to be done. So let's go back here. There we go. Now, since we have that going, let's go ahead and put some targeting stuff here. Number 1. I think I can also add one of these too. I think I can make that work. And then I just need a screen here. And we'll use that for system targeting. All right, there's that. Now number 4 here. Number 2, and then let's grab number 5, which will be this long one. Whoa, that's not the right window. Oh, I grabbed the wrong one there. Let's see. Yeah, that was the wrong one. Let's put this guy in. This will probably be a little bit easier to make work. Now then, we have all that windowing right there. Yeah, I don't think I need the push here. It's going to make this look a little weird, but it'll be all right. It's going to be a little bit thicker gunship. I don't think this is going to cause a problem here. So let's grab that. Here, there. That should be enough to not let that go crazy or get too crazy. I see why I did all that. These thrusters should go, what is it, 3? We'll do that, and then, nope, we are not going to be able to pull that off. Because the godforsaken thing just doesn't want to cooperate right now. All right, we're going to go number 7 here. I'll just have to do this. Sadly. Okay, we got all that figured up there. And I think I'm just going to do that. I'm going to pull it all the way back to there so we've got plenty of room. And we can still make that look kind of interesting when we get done. Um, What do we do now? What do we do now? What's up, Badger? How's it going? We're making a general purpose fighter, something cheap and easy to build. That's what's going on. And I'm attempting to get it done as simply as I can. But you know, these things they don't always go the way you want them to. Okay, I see how that's working. We probably need to put some type of transition right here. That'll be what's going to happen at this point. So let's grab number 4. Start this transition here. Then number 6, and then we go to 5. And there we have it. We can now transition a bit of our build over. You know, this is where the rocks were. This is where the thrusters on that side are actually starting. I don't want to show rocket pods in here because I'd rather just undersling them if I have to. Uh, hmm. And I may add some timer blocks in here. These look really cool, functional too. Thanks, Morgan Trow. Grexion, again, nice. Is it going to have hard points for optional weapons to be mounted on? I am probably going to do some optional hard points, yes. Uh, Mostly we're going to be able to put Mako missiles on the tips. It's going to have one major cannon system here, probably a set of miniguns somewhere on this side of the vessel. I'm going to kind of asymmetrical it, and then add a couple of like an ore detector and some other stuff on this side. And then hopefully underneath it, I can put some sort of mount so I can mount some type of gun turret or something, or like extra guns, a couple cannons, something like that, so we can do several things at once. Let me see here. How are we going to make this look cool? I'll look back at some of this stuff. I need to get that transition effect again. And transition from there to there. And that has the best transition. Like I said, this is that was a pretty good build in its own right. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to, just so I can keep everything looking good, boom, we're going to do that. Now this does leave a couple things exposed, but it should be fine, I think. We'll find out later. There we go. Just a little bit chunkier, boy. Let's see. We got that going. I need to flare that up right about here. Hold on. I'm looking at this thing right here and something doesn't seem right. Hmm. Hmm. Let's see here. I'll do that. I'll have to transition this somehow. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . Or we may just do an engine nacelle system. Well, we'll figure that out later. Just going to make this work at the moment. No, wait, no. This will have to go here. And this creates a bit of a problem because now, not only are the engines very well exposed, I'm seeing another problem I'm running into here. Is I need to be able to run this sideways in there. Let me try something here. Number 5. Do that. And kind of look like a fuselage kind of thing going on there. I'll just make a pocket looking thing here. And that'll make a lot of things just kind of work together. Number 7. Ah, I like that. Do that. And that. There we go. So now we got that really rough looking fuselage look going on. Now for right here, we'll do this, and I will probably do some type of vent system right here. I don't know. We'll figure this out in a minute. 6. Nope, not that one. There we go. I got that figured up there. Now let's go ahead and add number 5 here real quick. To do the exact system function. Now I'm looking at this and I realize, oh crap, I'm gonna need to figure something out. How low are these units? Okay, I see what I did there. I see why that worked a little differently. So the gun mount system is gonna have to come up the side of this thing. Now I'm gonna have to make it work. That's interesting. Let me check a deal here. Morgan Trow, I do mean like these look to be real fighters that could be made in the future. Yeah, that I kind of try to go for that, a little bit of realism, so that the fighters work a little bit better. This one here is going to be a little longer. It's going to have a little bit more oomph to it. Grexion, by the way, Badger, I don't know if you are interested in this game, but considering Helldivers 2, Anti-Cheat has made PC gamers unable to play, maybe try out Warframe if it piques your interest. I tried Warframe for a long time, for a bit back on PlayStation, and my biggest problem with Warframe was getting stuff. That was my biggest problem with that game. I had more trouble getting things out of that and getting all the equipment built up on it, and it just never really came to fruition, and I eventually fell out of favor with it. Don't get me wrong, it's a good game. I do like the concept, and I love the Grimdark future that goes on in it. but it was one of those things where the more I played it, I kept running into walls, and I was finally like, okay, we'll just let it go. Okay, now what I think I'm going to do here is I'm going to curl this in. And that'll give me room for like batteries and other stuff. So let's grab the batteries here. I added some batteries here, didn't we? Yeah, I added 2 there, but I want a few more. And we're going to just add our gyros here. We'll put 2 of those right in there. I just realized somewhere on this stupid thing I've got to put a reactor engine, or a small reactor, so that this thing can actually run and fly and keep its power going. Here's a small reactor we could put in. We'll just kind of slap this in somewhere. As soon as I figure out where I'm going to put it. I think the best place to put this is going to be back here, away from everything else. So it's not that easy to hit. So we got that stuff in. Now the next thing I want to do, let's go over here and let's grab number 6. And here's what I'm going to do. We're going to curve. First off, I need to disable that. Do this, and that should get the gun out there. One more should do it. And now I look at this and wonder, how am I going to pull this crap off? Okay. Number 1 here. Number 2. And then number... Well, I think that'll do for now. I just need a curve block to put here. And then we just need some guns. Let's go weapon shopping. Because I need the guns. Alright, like I said, we're doing this with straight up GATs. So we're going to GAT 1 here. And then there is going to be a GAT here. And then on the underside here, there will be another GAT, and I will figure out how that stuff's going to look here. But the way that will work, all the weapon blocks on here. When we fire, like so. And something went flying off my dadgum ship. What the F? All right, what went hurtling off? All right, we got a piece of the ship just decided to fly right off for no apparent reason. I don't know why it left. But yeah, as this thing fights, you're going to have the guns on one side. And I'm doing that because I want an asymmetrical weapon system. Now, what this also means is I may have to modify the 1 point here, because that is kind of going to interfere with the way the gun's going to have to be put on. So I don't know. I may have to modify this just slightly. Morgenthau, the Viper, this from Grexion. The Vipers from Battlestar Galactica are also really possible spacecraft that could be made in the future. Morgenthau, yeah, those are some awesome, well-designed ships. Well, that's strange. Badger Warframe has a Wiki. That helps very much when it comes to finding stuff. Yeah, I didn't know that thing existed. It's my fault mostly for just being a dumbass. Let me see here. That'll work. And like I said, with those three guns there, I'll be able to just this thing will just be able to concentrate fire. It's got to be kind of a piratey looking thing anyway. So we don't want this thing to look entirely too cool. And I think the asymmetry will give it something, will give it a nice look. Now the problem I'm running into right now is I wanted to armor around these guns so that when we're firing off this main machine gun array, um, I'd be able to put like a bunch of armor plating around it. That's going to be difficult right there. Actually, let's do something a little different here because I just realized I don't need all this crap. Let me reconfigure this here a bit. Probably just going to have a break right here in the fire rate. And then what we'll probably do is, because we do want a bit of a spread. That'll just create that side gun machine gun array going on right there as you're flying. And then I can just expose the guns a little bit. There we go. That looks pretty cool. So I'll have this little machine gun array coming up here, and then I'll run in kind of limitedly the side wing. Now we have all this stuff in place. I think over here what I'll do is I'll set up a targeting array on this side, which will consist of several things. It's going to consist of a, and this is why I'm asymmetering the entire build. We're going to put one build, we're going to be able to put the targeting system on one side of the ship, while then having this machine gun array on the other side of the ship. So that when we fire off the machine gun array, we don't have to worry too much about the gun. We don't have to worry about the guns because guns are all clustered on one side, and then we'll have like a radar targeting system on this side. And the way that'll work is I'm going to probably install a camera and let that work into the cockpit system so you can see where your targets are at, and then it will just kind of work from there. I think what I want to do, look at this, I kind of like the way the gun array looked originally. I like these three guns. I'm going to have to redo this again. I hate to do that. But I did like I like the original design a little better. So we'll go from there. I'm sorry. I know. Badger just doesn't make up his damn mind. And then, well, probably get away with another T-junction here. Because, like I said, one of the things I'm thinking about there. That way the guns are all lined up and you get just this nice concentration of firepower right there. But the other thing is I've got to remember that my wingtips have to come out here somewhere. Also, from Grexion, also, I think the way Warframe devs handle their community should be the gold standard for everyone, for every game. Um, yeah, I've actually, I've honestly, compared to everything that happens with Bungie and everyone else, I've never heard a bad thing about Warframe. That's the one thing I will say about that game. I've never heard a cross word from the community about Warframe. And all I can say is they've got to be doing something right. Let's see if I can make this look a little bit meaner. Uh, hmm. So we got this one area here coming in. Let's grab this. We're going to bring this back to about here, I want to say. Just like that. And then I want to bring in number 6. Because one of the things I'm thinking about doing here is just do that. And then I can build up over this area. And then one of the things that can also be done is let's go ahead here and strap on number 6 here. Because I will need to make that go there. And that there. Trying to see how I can make this work. Because there we go. There we go. All right, that looks good. Yes. Yes. Embrace the inverted wing. Now, the best part about this is I can start pushing this out forward as I build it out. Let's go ahead here. We're just going to build a little more out. There we go. And then from here, I can push this out. How's a Mako missile look? I need a Mako. Okay, so the Mako has, I don't know if you can see it, but the Mako missile actually has it actually has the one deal in front. So I really don't have to do a whole lot here. We've got this thing to a pretty good open standard. I may pull this wing just one more. Let me pull it one more. Just really get it out there. There we go. All right, that's done. Now the fun part here, I'm going to pull this in and then pull it all the way over. So, let me see here. And this is the interesting part because I've got to somehow Hmm. Let's do this. We're gonna modify this wingtip here a little bit so it will work a little bit better. It's gonna be interesting. Morgan we do a little silliness here. Yeah, Rexion, as in they are very open with their community, and if something is not working that is going to be added to the game, they push it back and get it fixed. Oh, that's nice. They also removed a feature that turned into gambling in Warfare as they Warframe, as they did not want gambling to be a feature of the game. Yeah, I understand that. That just creates all kinds of legal issues, and they are real quick on hot fixes for the game too, in order to keep bugs and glitches next to nothing. Yeah, that's one of those things with developers. If you can, if you have developers that will get off their butts and do that, that is a good thing. I see why you like game, why you're trying to get me to play it, and I have it for this system. I just have not had I just really haven't had a chance to mess with it too much. Turn it on, messed with it a little bit, and one of my problems with Warframe and games like it, I tend to it's one of those games that requires a whole lot out of you. I'm not liking that look. Let's take it in one more. Like I said, don't want it too agile. Let's do this. Let's go to 5. And all I'm going to do, slap that in there. because number 2, when I put this in, we'll do them. Yeah, I got to figure out this back wing here. And I think the best way this is going to go down, probably like that, I would say. Let's go number 4. How's that going to look? That does kind of a butterfly looking thing. Let's just keep things kind of nice and simple here. That, and that. Okay, mounting a missile on the wingtips has actually made things a little bit more bulkier than I had originally wanted it to be. And trying to work through all this stuff here is just kind of a nightmare almost. Okay, let's go back to what we were doing before. There we go. Nope. Yeah, there we go. I'll have to rebuild this wing on the other side too, because it's not going to look totally correct on that end. Okay, yeah, that's looking better. That's looking better. I should have just stuck with that nonsense. My word. I may actually grab this section here, and I may pull it back with a longer set. Let's go here with that. Oh, that's right. Hmm. Hmm. My plan here was to put 2 ion thrusters in this position here. We might need to, let me see here. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. We'll need to install 2 ion thrusters right about here. But that means I'm also going to have to really reconfigure some stuff here. Let's throw on some ions real quick, as I know the exact type I want. And that is the thrust bar version. About 2 thruster bars on each side. That's where they're kind of going to go. Yeah. So that gives me 2 good thruster sections to work with, and then I can just add probably about 2 thrusters on each side, as well as 2 thrusters going up somewhere along here. I may just add the 2 thrusters in this position here going forward, and then add something similar here, but then add all the extra stuff that goes on to that. So yeah, that's becoming interesting. Actually, I may just move these up and then build around them. Just kind of build like a housing around that. So it also kind of protects those reactors and whatnot, but also makes everything else look more beefier. And then they'll give me plenty of room to mess around here if I want. So I've got downward thrusters, forward thrusters. I just need upward and sideways thrusters, and we're pretty much good on the thruster pack. Looking at this. Hmm. Hmm. Let's go back here and look. I think I'm going to do 2 hydrogen thrusters each because I'm not going to need a whole lot of side-to-side thrust. If I'm recalling correctly. No, I didn't do that. I didn't do that. So, actually, here's what we'll do. We're going to cover this up anyway. Put 1 here. And could I just instead, where can I add thrusters? Where can I add some thrusters just to get, actually, hold up now. We've got 2 slots right here. We can add thrusters right in this area and just make that work. And all I'd have to do is tap into one of these things here. So let me see here. Like I said, I got downward thrusters. I just need side-to-side thrusters. That's it. That's it. Actually, I could put about 4 thrusters there and 4 thrusters pointing up. Let's do that. No. There. There. How will that work over here? We'll have about 3 thrusters going up and down, which isn't actually, that'll work out great. So now all I gotta do is just put 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. It's still pretty quick. Of course, that is with the ion thrusters also helping. Main thruster still makes it go quick. My lord. Of course, when you add the Makos to it, it's going to have a little bit more heft to it. I may not need that many ion thrusters either. That thing, geez, that's going to pump. I figured it'd have a little more weight to it, but it ain't giving me much of nothing in difficulty. It'll just fly. Oh well, that works out. Of course, I am still going to try and modify some of this thing to have a little bit more heavier armor. So it's going to have a heavy armor block or two in there that'll cause it some difficulty and slow it down just a little bit, just to give it a little more oomph to defend itself. Let me go through here. Grexion again. The good nature of the Warframe devs is why the game is still going, even if it is the 13-year-old game. By the way, Badger uploaded my new shuttle yesterday. Yeah, I saw something. I think I saw that. I think you put it in the Discord. Or you put something in the Discord. And I was able to look at that and figure out what was going on there. Okay, so we got this here. We need to add a few more things. So the one problem is the radar is going to have to be really, really simple to install. I don't know. Let me well, we got to get this thing finished anyway. Like I said, slightly bigger. Single engine. It's not pulling that much firepower. We're not pulling that much stuff out of it. Oh, I also need oxygen. Well, I already got oxygen. Because I got the oxygen tank right here. Duh. I don't need to worry about that. Let me see here. Okay. Let's go ahead here and start adding more armor to this. I am going to eventually okay, let's go ahead here. I need to one, keep building on this thing for dang sure. Yeah, I need to beef that up a slight amount so I can get some kind of there we go. Because I do need that to be a little bit heavier built right there. Because, good God, we need that gun turret to be a little bit more protected, my lord. Can't do that. There we go. That'll just make that look a little bit more protected. That's all it's going to do. Okay, that's kind of good. We'll add some stuff in here. I have this whole box area I can just add equipment to, which will make it work wonderfully. We also are going to have we've got this undercarriage here we can add stuff to if we need to, just modify the model as much as we want. So like I said, we've got enough room here that I could add 2 separate rocket pods or add a series of like heavy cannons, which I need to do that. I need to figure out how. About here, we're going to take this one out, and I'm going to add well, not like that. Add this, so if you want to add a cannon to the bottom, or you just want to strap a rocket launcher there, you can have different weapons. You can also add rail guns to this too if you want. You'll still have its main armament, which is these 3 main cannons and its missile systems. So you can still attach a missile to it. You can still fire the heavy weapons. You can still just rip things apart with the Gatlins. It'll still be pretty quick, but I think the more armor I start adding to this thing, the less and less mobile it's going to become. That main thruster back there is just getting it. Hey, this thing I'll just get once I give it a little gas. It's gonna have a little gas and it's just gonna fly, baby. So we got our, like I said, we got this main strafing gun right here. I will probably, let me think here. I'm going to go ahead and grab this block. And I think I'm going to go, yeah, right under those. Wait, no, like right here. So yeah, I'm still going to have to run a set of blocks from there over so I can get to the other wing. And then I can launch missiles from there. And that will enable this to, like I said, I'll be able to just really start chucking stuff at a problem. We can drop a couple missiles and whatnot. Let me at least, because I am going to have to get off here in a minute. Unfortunately. Let me see here. We are going 1, 2, 3, and then we go forward and over like that. So, grab number 6. I really don't care how much weight this thing gets. Now, let me see here. We go out from there to come forward 1. And then it goes here. I want to say there. like that, I want to say. I'm getting that correct. No. I need one more. Okay. I think that'll work. Let's make sure. Now, how do I do that? Because I want to try and tie this into the system so it looks like it's all supposed to be there, but it's all tied in. Uh-huh. Okay, something ain't right there. Ah. I will have to modify this again. Because I just looked at it and realized I'm going to need one more regular there. And then I think I can get the corner block in. Okay. Because what's happened here is this gun is taking up a block section here that's going to be pulled in. So you're going to have this kind of choke point where the guns are coming out. And the problem there was that is 1, 2, 3, 4 away. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4 away. And that's where that has to start for the wing, I believe. That is going about where it needs to be. Yeah, it is. I think it is. No, it's not. What the frick? That's there. Okay, let me see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. Okay. Okay, I see where I went kind of wrong here. So if I can just fix this the easy way. That. V. I should be able to just slap that back right there. Yeah, there we go. That's where the... Is it where the problem? Yeah, that's where the problem was. Okay, we're on track. We're on track. We're on track. Okay, I got the wings figured out. And I'll probably just go to bed tonight and leave that like it is. Because that is turning into a much better looking fighter than I had originally anticipated. It's going to be beefier than the other fighters, so it's going to be a little larger. Slap a Mako on there, and it's going to be a whole lot. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and just grab a Mako real quick. We're gonna grab one. This should be. That's the turning type. I'm gonna grab one Mako and just. Oh, I don't have the right section on here. Here we go again. We're gonna have to do this nonsense all over again. Copy from there. Like so. And it will hook on here. I know it will. All right, there it is. Come on. It tried to hook on a minute ago. Why are you stopping now? Come on. It almost went on a minute ago. Different angle, maybe. Okay, hang on. Let me try something here. We'll just delete 2 parts of this because I think that's what's causing the problem. There we go. Now then, I shall copy and it is on that. And that's going to make this a little bit different system because it is faster, but it's going to have that Mako missile on board, which is going to have 2 extra Mako missiles, and this is going to be able to go in, strike something, and just hit it. As well as have this wicked cannon set up on the side here, just wrecking things. It'll get lighter as it fires off missiles, so it'll be able to take the Makos and just shoot them off the wingtips. This also means I can land this thing on a base and do like No Man's Sky, where it like takes the ship and then like turns it. And once it turns it again, it'll just kick on the welders, weld up 2 new missiles, and then it can take off from its flight area. As that happens, I can do other things. Yeah, that's what it's ultimately going to look like. It's going to have 2 Mako missile systems on there. We're going to be able to mount either railguns, cannons, anything you really want to mount to this thing, you're going to be able to mount to it. So when you bring this into a conflict, it's basically going to be a FU to everything in the area. If I look under here, I think I see a problem. See, that's to there. Okay, I'll just have to replace like 1 block over here, I believe. Is that what I'm looking at here? Okay, that's all we're going to have to really replace. Here's the kicker. That's... Well, no. Let's pop up here so I can take a look under the bottom. Yeah, right here. This is what we got to fix. Or do we? Hmm. Yeah, that's where I start running into an issue, is right about there. Or wait. No, that's not where I need to worry about. Let's see. What this is doing is going all the way backside here, like that. And then this part here is not doing that. It's coming up and going over. So, yeah, I'm dumb. I am dumb, stupid, like a box of fucking rocks sometimes. There's my other hard point. There we go. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We are now sitting on 2 hard point systems, as well as hard points for the missiles. So now this thing can run 2 Makos on the tips. As it goes in, it'll have the ability to launch these Makos. So it's got Mako firepower plus the ability that as we are running here, we can go extra set of Gatlins, drop on some autocannons, slap on a nice set of railguns if necessary. Now, the problem with the railguns is we're probably going to have to add a battery or add some type of extra power supply to this thing. So that is not going to supply a battery. Or we can just add a couple of assault cannons to this thing, and then you've got 2 side pod assault cannons that can be added to it. And whatever else you want to do. You can also do firework launchers. Just, give them, I may add those later. Or just add a couple rocket launchers to this thing. You can add one here and add one there. Just have a series of rockets. And you can mount this thing up, load it up with all kinds of weaponry and whatnot, and it'll be. I'll have to figure out what I'm going to call this. I got to figure out what we're going to call this thing. I don't know. I want to name it after a sword. Maybe the Gladius, because I'll call it a Gladius because it's going to be it's just a multi-purpose fighter that we can build rather cheaply and efficiently, and then you can just throw it into combat whenever you need it. Morgan Trial, I think assault cannons would work best with my limited knowledge of shipbuilding. Yeah, uh, if I really wanted to get crazy with it. But I mean, like I said, that little spot right there where you can just hook a weapon into it gives it an extra set of hard points. It can go into different configurations. We're going to be able to differentially configure this thing to where it'll run multiple different systems. So it'll run really well. I can add all kinds of cool stuff to this thing if I really want to get crazy with it. And like I said, you fly it in, it'll weld up its Mako missile pods, and then it can drop off a Mako missile right out in the middle of nowhere and just F with somebody real quick. And you can undersling this thing under a ship if you want to, with the extra connector on top. Which, did I put that down there? Yeah, I did. So yeah, I'm gonna hold off on this, finishing this up, and I'll do this as a chill stream too. And let me get a nice good shot here for the cameras. So that will build what I'm going to call the Gladius, and then I'm going to have a much more. We're going to advance the Saber, make it a little bit better spacecraft, or build a little bit better ship. Period. Broadsword may be a good name for it. You could have the middle Gatling gun be an autocannon, will give it a bit more punch. Yeah, that's the cannon system there is just its secondary weapon system. The primary weapon system is going to be the Mako missiles. That's its primary weapon, and then its cannon is just there on the side. Which at the same time, I'm going to be adding a radar system right here on the other side with a camera, trying to do the camera turret system so we can, as this thing flies, it's going to be able to have its own. It's going to be able to tell where something's at. It's going to be able to fight it. It's going to be able to work with other units so that they all know where that thing is at. So these things are going to be interlocked and interconnected while they're fighting. And then as that's going on, you're also going to be able to put other mission specific systems underneath it. So you're going to be able to mount 2 other weapon systems to it and really go to town. And you still got a pretty decent amount of speed with it. Now, is it as insane as the Saber? Probably not. I mean, it's got a good speed, but it's very slow. When you take off with it, it's going to take off, and you're going to be able to just kind of keep it going where it needs to go. So yeah, it'll do what it's got to do. Now, whether it'll stay up in atmosphere, that's another thing. I'm going to have to test it out in an atmospheric environment, and that may require me to put a few more atmospheric thrusters on the bottom of it as I continue to skin this thing up, add a little bit of extra armor, and this will just be like a straight line, mass producible fighter. That's all it'll be there for. And the Saber is going to be our interceptor. And then I just got to build some type of heavy gunship eventually. Eventually, we're going to build a heavy gunship. I don't know when that was going to happen. But I am going to put up for the week. That's why we're doing this project. So this will be a pretty easy build to do pretty quick. And then I'm going to put up a triple build or a little, how do I put this? We're going to put up a thing so that you guys can look at and decide on whether or not you want me to build a interceptor from Star Wars with the mods, um, a what is it, Bubble Fighter from Lost in Space. I was also talking about that, or the Mammoth Tank from Command and Conquer. And those are the 3 big builds we're going to be going at. And like I said, and also like with the gunfire, you could really upgrade this thing tremendously. You can give it a lot of. This is just the base model. Once you get it, you can do whatever you want with it. You can add quadruple. You can add like 6 auto cannons to the bottom of this thing. The main cannon's just on the side, just to give it a little bit of a look. And then I'm gonna add some other stuff in here, make it all tie it all together, and make it look good. But anyway, folks, as usual, I am Badger Wild, and it's the time of the video where I gotta go. Unfortunately, gotta get to bed, do stuff tomorrow. I gotta crawl under a house and work on a beam, put in some new floor joists, and hopefully that's the last time I have to go under this house because, oh good God, it is horrible. I come out smelling like a dead animal and a skunk every time, and I'm sick and tired of it. I want it to quit, but gotta make money. Anyway, I am. When this is done, I'll put this up on the workshop, and I will probably try to put this into its own area in its own system so you guys can actually access this thing and use it like it's meant to be used. I am going to do some type of upgrade to the Saber at some point. I've already considered that. And that'll probably be its own little video. And like I said, this is probably going to be the broadsword, is what we're going to name it. And I've actually thought of a really cool way of doing the thruster cover on the back, which is just going to make this thing look even better. But anyway, I will do that later. As usual, I am Badger Wild, everyone, saying stay safe, stay frosty, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Morgan Trial, good night. Okay, good night, Badger, and thank you very much. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye for now. Oh, wait, before I go, damn, I can't believe I forgot this. I've been doing this at the end of the videos, and now I realize why I do them at the end of the videos. I realized why I was doing these at the beginning of the videos. Um, keep having to talk about like the membership thing so the channel can grow. If you guys like what you're seeing on here and you're enjoying the video, uh, You can like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell for notification, all that. Also, I'm running a membership program. It is just a Dr. Pepper fund. That's all it is. That's what kind of keeps me on these videos and keeps me going on it. And so if you guys want to fund my Dr. Pepper problem, my little Dr. Pepper habit, you can go in there. It's like 99 cents a month for the membership program. And if you do that, you do that by hitting like the join button. You can join the membership. And what happens is you're going to get access to videos long before anyone else does. Right about at the beginning of each month, I try to put out enough videos for the month. And so every month, there's going to be a whole flood of videos come in that most people are not going to get to see until they come out. If you're a member, you just get access to all of that all at once. You don't have to worry about it. It all comes up and it's all there for you to look at. So there are people already on the membership, and I'm trying to come up with something for the membership. Um, if I can get the membership up enough, I will probably try to start a server, like a dedicated Space Engineer server, at some point, and I will try to make that run. That's one of the things I would like to do because that would give me the finances to, because when you do a server, you have to buy the server and then you have to do the slots. It won't be necessary to play on the server. It will just help with the server fund, if you understand what that means. Also, I'm trying to come up with some other things, not just like if you don't want to get in the server and you want to like do something else, like possibly hook up with the membership and just do like a build-a-thon where we just hop in, build like a couple ships, probably have a full-on pirate starfighter run where we'll put a remote controlled couple of ships out there and one guy will be controlling the main ship, and then we'll have to fend off like AI fighters and stuff like that, just to kind of have a little bit of fun. Also, I got some special projects that members will have like first dibs on that. If they want to do stuff like that, I will come in on that and just let y'all know about it. It's just something small if you want to get involved with it. It helps out the channel, and I'm coming up with ways to show my appreciation for y'all buying Dr. Pepper and keeping me going on here. Anyway, folks, that out of the way, shameless plugs out of the way. Thank you all for getting on here and watching, and thank you all for being patient with me tonight and all my stupidity. As usual, as I said before, I'm Badger Wild saying stay safe, stay frosty, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye for now.